Heroes, our diversity is our strength, and we forge our future with the same flame as our steel. Oh, there's a place in the Midwest, and it's calling you home. The best part of Portage is what's next. The best part of Portage is you. There's more for you in Indiana. There's a place in the Midwest, 50 miles southeast of Chicago, nestled near the coast of Lake Michigan. It's a place driven by what's coming next, a place where industry is the lifeblood of its community, and its pulse is gritted with sand and steel, fire and smoke. It's a city building its future together, one business, one family, and one home at a time. This is a place for makers, doers, and dreamers. It's where the global marketplace meets hometown values, where Americana isn't just a tradition, it's a way of life. Here, your experience makes the difference. With access to railroads, major waterways, and 8 different highways, this is a place in motion, sending goods, services, and ideas not just across the state, but across the world. And when the work ends, the day's just beginning, with beaches like West Beach in the Indiana Dunes National Park, exciting hiking and biking trails like the Diana of the Dunes Dare or the BMX track, and local treasures and exciting festivals, you'll know you're in more than just a bedroom community. From veterans of foreign wars to hometown heroes, our diversity is our strength, and we forge our future with the same flame as our steel. Oh, there's a place in the Midwest, and it's calling you home. The best part of Portage is what's next. The best part of Portage is you. There's more for you in Indiana. There's a place in the Midwest, 50 miles southeast of Chicago, nestled near the coast of Lake Michigan. It's a place driven by what's coming next, a place where industry is the lifeblood of its community, and its pulse is gritted with sand and steel, fire and smoke. It's a city building its future together, one business, one family, and one home at a time. This is a place for makers, doers, and dreamers. It's where the global marketplace meets hometown values, where Americana isn't just a tradition, it's a way of life. Here, your experience makes the difference. With access to railroads, major waterways, and 8 different highways, this is a place in motion, sending goods, services, and ideas not just across the state, but across the world. And when the work ends, the day's just beginning, with beaches like West Beach in the Indiana Dunes National Park, exciting hiking and biking trails like the Diana of the Dunes Dare or the BMX track, and local treasures and exciting festivals, you'll know you're in more than just a bedroom community. From veterans of foreign wars to hometown heroes, our diversity is our strength, and we forge our future with the same flame as our steel. Oh, there's a place in the Midwest, and it's calling you home. The best part of Portage is what's next. The best part of Portage is you. There's more for you in Indiana. There's a place in the Midwest, 50 miles southeast of Chicago, nestled near the coast of Lake Michigan. It's a place driven by what's coming next, a place where industry is the lifeblood of its community.
Sanitary Board meeting, will you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do the roll call.
Member Gore,
Here.
Mayor Bonta,
Here.
Member McAlpine,
Here.
Attorney Elwood, Councilperson Weidenbach.
Here.
Did you guys all have a chance to take a look at the minutes, and were there any questions, corrections, or motions related to the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes from June 4th.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. That'll get us to staff reports. Who's going first? Tracy this time? Okay.
Good evening. So the plant, again, even on 4th of July, we have 1.95 inches. It handled a little bit more because there was time for some of the other stuff to dry out, and we had the high temps, so it helped a little bit. So we only ran at about 5 million gallons a day for about 3 or 4 days. We're getting back to the 4 millions right now. We're still not quite back to the 3 millions that we usually average. But guys did a tremendous job again at that. We did have, so the UV system is new and it's gotten online and everything. So we're still getting used to it, and there's still been some tweaks and stuff. We did have a out of spec for E. coli on the 7th and 8th, and it was because there was a power surge that basically we saw it, we turned back the UV back on, but because the flow went so low on the gate in the evening, it kicked it out as the flow's too low, you don't have to disinfect. And so then when the flow came back up, it never returned. It shut itself off in an emergency so it wouldn't burn up the bulbs, and it never turned itself back on. So it wasn't caught until about 8, 9 o'clock on the 8th. So the 7th the sample was grabbed on the 7th. The 8th was grabbed before we caught that the UV bulbs were off. So we had a violation for both. We do get to throw, there's a 10% rule. We had to let item know that we did go exceed the amount, but there is a 10% rule, so we can throw out, as long as we're low, we can throw out 10%, so we'll be able to throw out our high one. So we should be good when it comes to the end of the month, but we did have to let them know. What we're going to do to correct the situation is we're gonna put alarms on it, so it tells us when it trips the gate out like that. We know then, and we know to go look at it and reset it. So we're gonna set some alarms. It's a learning system with the new system. Besides that, we've loved the system. But besides that, that was something that occurred just the other day. But everything else is going really good in the plant. We haven't had much issue. Any questions for me?
I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Commenda, you're back, but feel free to sit down if you'd like. You've had kind of a busy day.
I could probably use the steps. So, hello, everyone. I don't really have a lot with sanitary, thank goodness. We did have one little issue, and we went out and actually our crew went out, and it was just mud around the pipe. It was a dead end, just one guy on the system that went to the, from the dead end. So other than that, sanitary's been in great shape, and other than us giving all kinds of water to Tracy during storms, but other than that, everything's been going pretty good with storm, knock on wood. So any questions? Thanks, everyone.
Well, thank you. That'll get us to unfinished business. We have Swanson Trails variance request discussion. Lennar Holmes.
Good afternoon. Dennis Mayer, M-A-Y-H-E-R, Director of Land Development for Lennar Homes. So currently, we had asked for a variance on the stone that was in the sanitary and that motion, so we're asking for that variance.
I thought you said in the last meeting you didn't ask for a variance.
That's what we're on this board for right now.
Okay, so you're saying that you didn't before and now you're asking for a variance.
So then I'll reject that.
I'm sorry?
I will retack that. So, since it was denied on the first board, correct?
I believe we denied it here too last month. But then you came to the meeting just before this one and said you guys didn't request a variance. So you're saying so I got it. You're saying that you didn't request a storm variance last month, but you did request a sanitary.
No, I've got it confused. I apologize. So,
Sorry, it's a lot to keep up with. Mr. Commenda.
Yeah, most of the issue is, all the issue that we know of is in the sanitary. The reason I wanted to do Storm 2 is if this board did make them dig and replace it, If we ran across the storm line and we seen it had twos in it too, then they would have to fix that too. It was just a measure for me to make sure that we wouldn't have to come to the stormwater board to do the same thing we're doing here at the sanitary.
I see.
But it's all, as far as we know, it's all sanitary.
That's the actual core of the issue.
Correct.
Got it. The variance was,
Yes,
Yes.
I agree.
we're all on the same page? Cool.
Correct, sorry.
So the variance was denied at the last meeting, right? Yeah, so we're just talking about it?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So again, the letter that was provided by Midland Standard that was referenced, it's the same letter. So, but it was only reflective in the sanitary areas.
So we're talking about 2,200 lineal feet, correct?
Correct, yes, sir. And then in that area, we also then had, with the borings that were done, there was no water that we found during the excavation. There was no water in those areas. So we felt that with the concerns of staff with any type of soils migrating into those twos in those areas should be mitigated with just the soils being a heavier clayed area. Then we also, when we topped, we lime stabilized the top 18 inches of the base. Then we did a geogrid on the main layer. Then we put the fabric, which is in the spec. Then we added stone. Then we added binder. And that's all in the letter that was provided by Midland Standard.
Mr. Commander, not to make you keep getting steps, but I mean, we're getting there. I mean, really, this is just an explanation of what they should have done, right? Or what should have been brought up if they had come to the last meeting or something like that? Or am I
Well,
misunderstanding something?
this is the plan that they finally came up with in May.
Correct. I think it was like maybe the 25th,
Okay.
Dan?
Remember how I said we asked for a plan and then we'd have to get it approved? This is when, in May is when they came up with this, okay? That's when I said the board would have to approve that.
But I think our thing is like, shouldn't just the rules be followed for the sake of our residents and future residents?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, rules should always be followed.
Because I thought that what got proposed at the last meeting was some sort of warranty that went to like 2031.
Yeah, I heard something about that. I
That's
never.
what I remember being informed about, and I think that was considered atrocious by, well, at least me.
Right, I never seen it in writing or anything, so.
The verbal,
this-
somebody said.
Yeah, that must, yeah, I believe, maybe they talked to John about that, maybe?
I'm actually the one who offered that.
Oh,
Yeah, at the
well,
meeting
no,
that we
talking
were all
only like
at.
a 3-year at that time, not 10.
2031 was the end
Yeah,
for
it
the
was like
maintenance
a
bond.
3-year, it
Correct.
wasn't a 10-year.
Because
so.
you have I'm sorry, Dan, you have the maintenance bond carryover.
It just seems to me like the right thing to do is to do the road correctly, and if you didn't do the road correctly, and if you didn't get the necessary permission to not do the road correctly, I just think you should have to do it correctly. I mean, we have so many reputable builders trying to build in our city, so many, and they follow the rules. And I just don't think that we should get in a habit of letting people get away with things after they've already broken the rules. I'm sorry.
Let the record reflect, when this housing development came before City Council, I voted no for this.
I still kind of disagree with you as the concept, but here's the thing. I mean, you were basing that, I think, on concerns about how this company has treated other residents who were future residents at a time and are now current residents who aren't getting their problems solved. I had to submit 39 complaints about crumbling sidewalks and driveways. And what we're being told by the company is that, oh, that's because the city is putting salt on the roads that's making people's driveways crumble. Now, I've never heard of that before. That's kind of a wild thing to me. And now the same company is coming with a bunch of excuses on a different development that I think was very solvable. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, I do have a question, and I don't know who would answer, but if the concern is that this needs to be solved, has anybody stated how it would be solved? Because
Mr. Dan, would you mind come back one more time? How do we enforce getting the road to be corrected to what it should have been?
They would have to excavate, take out the twos, and put in the proper backfill.
Can you expand on that? How is that done exactly? Because if the concern is that you want proper compaction, you're suggesting that the road be completely excavated and then stone placed?
Basically, it's typically when you build a pyramid, you start at the base, yeah. You'd have to start at the base and come back up and build it according to all the specs.
And Dan, I understand it right. They would have to build with the correct stone this time.
Yes,
Because we can't find it or we don't want to use it isn't an excuse, right?
right.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
know
they,
it stinks, but
it
this,
would, yeah, it's not gonna be a good thing for them. I mean, because you're gonna have to dig all the way down to sanitary, you're gonna have to make sure you get all the 8s out, then you're gonna have to put your 53s in, then you're gonna have to start building back up again, and then redo your road, depending on how much you gotta excavate of the road. And I don't even, technically, that's just the main line. I don't even know about the laterals going up to the house. You know, so that's 2,200 feet's the main line. That isn't the laterals. So it's gonna take quite a bit of work.
and if you're an aspiring developer out there, this should really be, in my opinion, like a cautionary tale of follow the rules. Don't try to do them an incorrect way. I mean, simply put, I know that so a warranty was never actually offered to the city in writing. That was just something talked about.
Correct.
And I can't trust any warranty number. Maybe I don't even know if we can do this, maybe a 1,000-year warranty. I have a very bad feeling that whatever number, I was bothered by the 2031, because in my mind, I'm like, did someone already do the math that it could break in 2032, you know?
Yeah, like my Morse machine.
Yeah, right? Again, I get that mistakes happen, but we're talking about almost a year's worth of getting to where we got at the last meeting, and they didn't even show up at the last meeting. It felt like they just wanted to call the city's bluff. I don't think Portage has a reputation for bluffing when it comes to enforcing our rules.
The only thing I want to say, I'm just not entirely convinced that the solution you're suggesting would make it better. I understand you build at the base, but you're talking about a completed roadway that would have to be completely excavated and then reset. I mean, the only thing I can compare it to is when we have utility breakages, and, you know, that's usually where settlement occurs, is because even your best efforts of getting compaction, you're going to have settlement. So it's in place. I'm not trying to suggest that I think that a good solution needs to come up with how this is repaired, because if the intent is to ensure we have proper compaction below the roadway, I would hope that trying to make the repair doesn't make the matter worse.
I understand your concern, and I do care. I think the trouble is, and this is the trouble, I mean, this company has just consistently made promises to the city and to their customers, and then we're back trying to solve problems again. I mean, I understand that it's different people who are doing some different things in a large company, but I mean, I want to see this get solved in a way where my trouble with the variance request is, let's flash forward to if and when the road breaks, how fast are they going to come out and actually get it solved? Or is it going to be the ratepayers or the taxpayers solving it, and then we're chasing them to honor their agreements? I understand that taking it all the way down, if there's a way to get this thing fixed without going all the way down, that could be much better for everybody involved. But I think that this needs to be fixed and done right. And I just don't think it's hard to ask a multi-million-dollar company to do it right, especially when they knew what they were doing at the start.
I'd like to say one more thing. I just would like to see this solution drawn up rather than just explained, maybe by an engineer as well.
What they asked for was just permission to leave it as they did it, I think.
I think they're saying that the top layer of what they put in will sustain the road, correct? Correct? Now, if you want, we could send, Mr. Hannon has that, the soil engineer, what he sent you about the road base and their stabilization and all that. He could send you that. That was their solution that they did before they came to the board to see if that's what they could do.
Yeah, just, we talked about this at the Stormwater Board meeting too, but
to reiterate, early this year, in May of this year, we received a letter from the representative, the geotechnical engineer representing Lennar, detailing what Dennis just described in terms of the approach that they took to try to keep the trench from being a problem. The trench over the twos, I think?
Yes.
Where the twos were placed, to where they made extra efforts to put in extra cloth and to stabilize the roadbed. So we have that in place in terms of a description from the geotechnical engineer justifying leaving it alone. That, we have that in hand. The board at their last meeting elected to not grant a variance and basically is directing Lennar to go fix their problem. So that's kind of where we are at the moment.
Mr. Commenda, what was the date or what was the month and the year that they were informed there was a problem?
September,
Yeah, it was
September of last year.
last year.
So then why wasn't a meeting for a variance to solve the problem if the solution wasn't to just do it right as our ordinance requires? Why wasn't there a meeting in October
Right.
at the earliest?
Yeah,
It's a question for you.
yeah.
Yes, so when we had the discussion, and I did send the email to Mr. Hannah's point, and your question was that we had to provide the letter of what we were going to propose because the road, as we had put it in. And as I had stated before, my fault that it took so long to get it. And then when we finally got together in May, at the end of May, I think 24th, 25th.
So, Mr. Commenda, if you could state again, when did you receive the letter that you asked for or was told to get in September? What month and year? Was it,
Well, I know, like,
It's May 25th.
yeah, it was May.
So in September of 2025, they're told something's wrong. And then in May of 2026, they come back with their proposed solution. Now, when they came back with their proposed solution, was the road in the same condition as a construction site as when you guys informed them in September there was a problem? Or was it a finished road
They had curb
or somewhere
down,
in between?
but you, as I said before, Sandy McDaniel went out there to proof roll the grade. When she went out there, she said, hey, you know, if you put this asphalt down, it's at your own risk, because I'm told that this has not been approved yet, the stone you put in.
So they were given a reminder that what they put in hadn't been approved and they were still working on the road.
Before they had the asphalt in, okay?
Yeah, so I don't get it. Why would you keep working on it when you knew there was a problem?
So again, as we discussed the issue, and we had met before with this, the meeting in Mr. Comenda's office was prior to paving, and what we had discussed was to get the letter prior to, and this was
The letter prior to doing what? I'm sorry.
the letter prior to doing paving, so the stone and everything was still exposed at that point. I had Midland Standard, who was here a bit ago, had a phone call, but it wasn't the gentleman, Michael, it was his father, Bill Priggy, William, had the conversation with John. I can't speak to everything that was said on the phone because I wasn't on that call. However, the conversation, John, and correct me if I'm wrong, was, you know, just provide the letter in the detail of what you had discussed on the phone with him, then we would be good
So,
at that.
Mr. Hannon, did you say that in September to provide the
No, it was-
letter? Or when was that?
Yeah, we asked for a letter in September.
and you got
We
it at-
received an email from the developer shortly after the meeting.
Sure.
In September. And we responded immediately saying, we don't need a letter from the developer, we need a letter from a geotechnical engineer describing to us how this is not going to be
I
a
see.
problem. And then the ball got dropped.
Because
and
then
we-
the
we reconvened
geotechnical
in
engineer
May.
sent the letter to you finally in May, what you asked for, right?
Exactly, reconvened in May, and then we met at
So
Dan's
I
office.
think that's where I'm getting confused by the way that you're saying it, because what it sounds like you're describing is they told you that they needed this letter from the geotechnical engineer, and you're saying like, and then we got it to them. But it feels like what's being skipped over is that by the time you got it to them, work kept going on, and people were warning you that this is not approved yet. Am I correct, or am I missing something?
No, you're correct on the letter standpoint, but however, the agreement, which again, was what we had discussed, there was no change in the
You
email.
made an agreement with who?
I'm sorry?
Who did you make an agreement with?
It was the agreement, I shouldn't say the agreement, but
Yeah,
the
because that's a
discussion
very
of.
big word, a discussion. You had a
Sorry.
discussion.
Correct. So we had a discussion about the means and methods of what we were going to do and how, what was in place in the field. So
And
that was,
normally, when that happens, you have a discussion and you have a potential solution, and then before you act on it, you come to this board with your application, which I don't know if I would have said yes back then, if we had had the meeting in
Well, that was-
October.
If you think about it, the letter was May 25th. This was before you at your last meeting, June. So it was the next meeting after the letter was received.
Right, but I feel like the appropriate time for a meeting, if you guys asked for it in September, would have been to have an October meeting, or a November meeting, or a December meeting, sometime relevant to before we got to the point that things are so finished, we have to figure out what to do.
I agree with you. However, in September, when we had the discussion, and then even until we had the final meeting together in the end of May with Mr. Commenda, Mr. Hannon in their office, then it was referenced that we had to get the variance because more on the 2-year warranty, additional on the maintenance bond. And if I am misstating that, that's the way I remember everything.
I feel like you're not answering the mayor's question. He continues to ask you why, if you knew that you were using the wrong product, why work continued, and you keep going back to letters in September. You're honestly just saying a lot of words, and it's kind of confusing.
And I feel like I am too, but I guess, yeah, maybe I'll try one more time to ask the question. You were told in September, this is not allowed, and if you want it to be allowed, you need to start by showing from a geotechnical engineer that the work that you're trying to do or the product you're using is going to work. So the question is, once you were told that in September, why did you keep working on it until May? That's a why question.
So the why question is that, again, it's my fault that the letter didn't get pushed through and the work did continue.
Right,
You're
so,
100%
right, oh no, I
correct.
totally agree. Why did the work continue under your direction?
Because we had moved on to a different location. Because the community that, at that size, we had other locations that we were developing, so.
I don't think that's really a good excuse. You moved on to another location, so you
So-
just kept
but we
continuing
had-
doing something that you knew wasn't right with Portage standards?
No, but the issue with the stone had stopped. At that point, it had converted into what the Portage standards were as the rest of the
Saying you
community.
followed the rules with other areas, just not the spot where the stone was already placed.
That's correct.
Well, that's better, but on a scale, yeah. I agree, Adam, that like, it's unfortunate to think about like the whole thing being like unconstructed and like redone. It's really important to me that, I hope to be mayor for a while. I hope that residents are contacting me with their problems for a while. And if there's a problem with this road in the future, if a future Portage resident is having a problem with the road and they're contacting their councilwoman, they're contacting me, the mayor, I want to be able to know that I did everything I could to make that not happen if there's a problem in the future. Dan, like, what is the risk that we're taking with potentially approving any variance, which granted isn't being formally asked for tonight, to be fair?
Yeah, well, if you was to approve the variance, then sometime down the line, you'll know exactly where the sanitary line is, because this will start happening.
Is that just a matter of time, like it's going to break, or is there a risk it's going to break?
I believe so, because you got an open graded stone, which allows for sediment to get into them twos. So when that sediment starts filling in them twos, well, obviously, the top's gonna come down when that compacts inside the twos. It's just like when you're at the beach and you got the sand this high, and down here it's this high, and the water hits it, then next thing you know, it's level.
So, let's say when that happens, right? Let's say that it happens while the warranty is still going on. What is the company obligated to do? Anything?
Well, yeah, they would have to probably do the same thing we're talking about now. They have to come in and fix it.
Would they? Would you?
Of course we would. And
I mean,
understand.
I'm getting constant complaints from you guys that even just for regular residents, that things aren't getting fixed, that are broken. But now we're talking about a big road that I imagine is quite expensive to fix.
Yes, it would be.
Well, there's also a maintenance bond and a bond period, as we had talked about. So the current bonds that are in place that we have convert to a maintenance bond after a certain amount of time. And we had also, in part, and to your point, you would ask the question, and it was just a verbal conversation, with adding 2 more years to the maintenance bond.
So Dan, let's say that it breaks and the warranty is passed, then what happens? Who's on the hook for the trouble with the road?
We are,
We, the city,
City.
and the ratepayers?
correct.
For a problem that we knew about, like, right now. I mean, if this happens in the next 3 to 4 or 5 years, we
Right.
can't say we didn't know or this was unexpected.
Yeah, and I know, we have another subdivision that, it took quite a while, but it actually, we kind of have some rippling in the road. And I cannot tell you, I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't tell you if it would be in 3 years, if it'd be in 5 years, or it'd be in 10 years. I could not tell you that. A lot of it has to do with the fluctuation of the water table, because as the water table comes up, comes down, that's usually when it starts sucking it in, and so I could not really,
No, and I'm not asking you to
Yeah.
predict that, because we can't sit up here writing a warranty. I think this is the trouble, Adam. Like, to put it simply, this situation in the future when the road is breaking and residents are, I mean, again, I hope to be mayor, hopefully calling me, or, maybe Melissa will be mayor, by then, I don't know. It just kind of depends, like, where things go. But, like, I guess I'm just trying to get at that, well, or maybe my niece Tilly will be mayor. Whatever it happens, I don't want it to happen. I want this road to not have any break like this. So I get what you're saying. Like, does the solution have to be as drastic as it could be? I don't think that we have any particular reason to make it that drastic if it doesn't have to be, but it needs to not happen. Like, I just think, to put it really simply, like, I'm not comfortable giving any variance or any special permission if it's going to lead to a break. I think that's a waste of our residents and our taxpayers' time for them to experience the break in the road at any point. I think that any solution proposed has to be a solution that makes sure that this road doesn't break in this fashion that we know is going to happen.
and they would still have to come to us with a plan on how they're gonna fix it still. They can't just say, they're gonna have to show us a plan, okay, we're gonna take out the whole road, go back down, take out the stone, put the proper stone in, come back up, cement stabilization, or, I don't know, did you use cement?
In
Stabilization?
that location, I'm not sure if we use cement or lime.
Okay,
I would
well,
imagine
anyways.
it's probably lime because it's clay.
Yeah, so they would have to show us a plan that we would have to still approve, and the board would still have to approve on how they are going, their procedure of how they're going to fix this still.
That should probably have like a deadline or something at some point, right?
Well, I mean, if they want to get a CFO, I would say so.
I mean, that's kind of my trouble here too, is like, again, I think this was all just handled so sloppy on your guys' end, and I can't even, it's crazy to think that this was somehow not intentional. I mean, like, did you really not remember it until later?
Well, first, to answer your question, it was not intentional. Second,
Like, you didn't purposely ignore it, is what you're saying?
of course not.
That's good.
Can I ask one final question, just on my end? Was there any time, how did the subgrade proof roll perform?
You'd have to ask Sandy. I wasn't there, Adam.
See, that's my question is, there was another department that examined the soil below the road base. And, fully loaded vehicle was rolled. Was there permanent rutting? Was there any evidence that the number 2 stone was showing signs that it was not achieving proper density down there? Because at some point, somebody at the city said that it passes subgrade, because that would have been the trigger to allow for them to put the road base down, correct?
Well, it's like I said, Sandy did the proof roll, okay? What she's seen or what she didn't see, I don't know. But the problem is, it's not the top, it's the bottom, where you got the soils that are gonna come into the twos.
And the bottom doesn't have to be
From
bad
the
right
bottom.
now.
And
It can
you
get
could-
bad in the future, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and they lime stabilized it, okay, and did all their sub-base and everything. So if you run a truck down it that's loaded with stone, Do I believe it's gonna push that dirt into them twos? Absolutely not. I don't think so. You're the engineer, you know, tell me I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong. But I
I'm just
think,
trying to think of procedure. We've got multiple departments that were reviewing the subdivision as it was being constructed. And the Sandy, who's not here, does the city have to approve a subgrade proof roll before a contractor puts in a road base?
Yes.
And so that
It
must have
passed-
been
it
done.
passed- There's no question about whether it passed for paving. That's not a question. The question is long-term serviceability of the road. Dan's concern is that we have an open graded stone in the trench, and that over time, the silty material, silty soils that surround that open graded stone will migrate into the stone and the road will settle. So that's a long-term problem, as opposed to what we have out there right now is a stable condition, lime stabilized, geotextile in place. You know, that part is in good shape. Dan's concern is about long-term migration of silt into the open graded stone.
So Dan, did it end up getting like paved? So Sandy did her test, and like you say, there's no.
And they passed
It
fine.
passed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then did they pave over it, like it's a paved road at this point?
yes,
Okay,
Yeah,
so.
that's
so-
the problem.
So
They got
that's
curved,
that's
they
the
got-
confusion I have, because congratulations on passing that. But like, wouldn't you have thought, okay, we passed this and that's good, before we spend, you know, our company money or whatever on paving the road, let's go back to the city and make sure that we get the approval.
Resolve this problem.
Resolve it. I mean, because ultimately, I mean, I'm a businessman. I'd be very frustrated if somebody who worked for me spent money doing something knowing we didn't have full approval yet, and that like what I'm paying to get paved might, you know, need to come out, right?
right.
I guess I'm
We don't have the complete sequence of events, but
Sure.
the letter came out in late May, and the issue came before you at your next meeting. So we brought it to you immediately upon.
Thank you for
receipt
bringing
of the
it to
letter.
us as soon as you could. We appreciate
and-
that.
We got the letter, we held a meeting, and we came to you.
When did the actual paving take place?
Yeah, that's the part I.
That's what we don't know, or do you know when the paving took place?
I don't know off the top of my head, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, I know the road in front of your model home, I think you guys did that actually last year. Then the paving started sometime this year. I would say,
I don't, so you're right. So that first area that was paved was done in probably the middle part of October, in front of the models down.
yeah. But that's not where we had the problem with this, though. Yeah. And then they stopped, and then this year in the spring, they came in, and that's when they started doing, but I don't know exactly when they paved, but it had to be before the meeting and this letter.
That's not
I
our
would
business, really, the
think.
decision to pay. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like that the frustration a company might have is paying to pave a road and then finding out that they didn't get the approval needed for what's underneath.
Yeah. I believe it was in April.
It was early spring on the paving, but that's irrelevant.
No, I don't think it's relevant for our purposes. It's just, my understanding is that would be the frustration, or why somebody would want a variance. I'm guessing it's because you don't want to break up you don't want to have to undo all that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know why you would do it to begin with, but, you know, but at least I understand what the issue is.
So we have to have a plan on the solution. You're
Correct.
gonna approve it, you're gonna bring it to the board.
Well,
It's
that's,
gonna be done tout suite, and the repairs are gonna be taken care of right away also. And do you have any houses sold in this 2,200 lineal feet that it's gonna affect some of the homeowners?
That I can't answer on sales. I believe there are a few sales out there. I don't know where those areas are. I know that we were talking about that we paved the original location before this, the portion that we're in question now. There are homes just staggered in there. So, but to answer your question, I don't know.
We don't even have approval for a lift station yet. We're close, but the lift station hasn't even been approved yet.
So Dan, I guess my thing is, it's like, I don't want to wait forever on this, right? I mean, I
Right.
understand and I appreciate Adam's comments about not making it like, go all the way down if that's not necessary to fix the problem. But to put it simply, I think this problem needs to be fixed. I think that our residents deserve good roads. It's not just people even from out of town moving to Portage who are looking at moving to this neighborhood. We have residents in our city thinking about moving here and maybe downsizing. I mean, it was brought in as a multi-generational community. I think that they deserve good roads from the start. I think it would be a tremendous waste of their time, and there's a risk to their money as ratepayers, as taxpayers, if this road breaks in the future the way you're describing, and we could have stopped it now. I don't know how this works from an executive standpoint, Dan, like under normal circumstances, right? Like, let's say we give no variance, that's fine, all right? How soon do you start making them have to comply with the rules?
Well, if you do not give them the variance, I would suggest they get started right away and give us a plan, because the longer they wait, they're not gonna be able to get anybody to move into that subdivision.
Because they don't have the C of O, yeah.
Yeah,
The infrastructure won't be accepted,
yeah,
so that's the leverage right there.
yeah, they won't,
Yeah, no, that makes, I think, two different neighborhoods where we're concerned about that. So, I mean, yeah,
Right.
to put it simply, so we don't have to take any action. They're already in a spot where they can't move forward unless they get this variance or fix the road. Okay?
They have a financial bond with us at this time to guarantee that the public infrastructure will be put in properly.
All right, anything else you'd like to say?
No, sir.
All right, well, you have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, that gets us to new business. We have change order number 2, Highway 20 and State Road 249, Sanitary Interceptor Sewer Project.
Okay, that one's mine. So the Highway 249 project is almost virtually complete at this time. The change order that we're talking about is simply additional money that was needed to meet the requirements for the Indiana Department of Transportation. They, kind of late in the process, gave us a specification for the pavement, the Highway 20 pavement. And so that's what this change order is for. So the change order is to incorporate the NDOT specified asphalt detail for the pavement on Highway 20 in the amount of $24,806. Which the contract amount at the moment is $415,100. With this change order, the contract, new contract amount will be $439,906.25. We recommend that you approve this change order.
Any questions or a motion?
One question. So this was some form of a cost share with the person across the street, is that correct?
The developer of the new facility called Max's Grab and Go at the northeast corner of Highway 20 and 249 is cost sharing with us. They paid into our account prior to award of the contract.
And so were there provisions for change orders like this, that they would be a part of that?
There are no, we do not have that. It was a lump sum amount.
I'll make a motion to approve the change order.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank
And
you.
then I would just point out that you have a pay request on your docket for pay request number 1 for this project that we are recommending for payment. It represents about less than 75% of the total project cost, and we're really close to 100%. So you will see that on your docket. Thank you.
Thank you. So that'll get us to Northside Interceptor Pay App number 13.
Thank you. Yes, so payment application 13 is for Thieneman Construction on the Northside Interceptor project. It accounts for the continuation of work at the new Marine Drive lift station. the installation of the 10 and 16-inch force mains under Burns Ditch and the Little Calumet, additional maintenance of traffic, and construction engineering. The contractor is requesting payment in the amount of $760,615.00, and we're recommending approval.
Motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Gets us to change order number 2, lift station improvements project.
Good evening, Ryan LaRue with Commonwealth Engineers. So this change order includes cost changes and time extension. First, I'll kind of explain the background. So leading up to mobilization, our contractor, Grimmer, is under contract to do coordination with NIPSCO, the electrical utility, for each of these lift station sites. Once they reached out to NIPSCO to start coordinating that, it became evident that several of the lift station locations did not have the same electrical feed as what was shown on the drawings. That was 4 of the 6 lift stations. So they started getting costs from NIPSCO on what the change would have to be on the service side to make them match what is needed for each of the lift stations. So each of those control panels, each of the pumps requires a certain electrical feed and was designed that way. The costs were immediately apparent to be much too high. Each lift station had a different scenario. I recall the worst case scenario on one of the lift stations. A third phase was needed to be brought to the site. The 3 phase was 18 poles away. NIPSCO was saying they'd need about $7,000 per pole to get that third phase to the site. Not to mention their inevitable engineering costs or other fees that they like tacking onto that. So that's where we, Commonwealth, started exploring what would be necessary or what could we change on the city side of each of those services to mitigate those costs. And so we visited each site to verify what the actual existing feed was and came up with the most cost-effective solution. Each one was a little different, but in general, I'm no electrician, so please don't ask me too many questions on the electrical, but it essentially called for a city-owned transformer, a small transformer to be on the city side of those NIPSCO feeds that would transfer the power to what was necessary. So that's what the first cost is, the electrical changes for $128,000 and change. That's the cost that our contractor gave us would cover the additional electrical equipment and the labor to install that. On top of that, the other items are purely a result of the delay to the project. So as these delays aren't really within the contractor's control, they are requesting additional funds to account for the material cost differences, the labor cost differences, and the fuel cost differences from the time they bid the project. So if you recall, it was February of '25 when they originally bid the project. They intended to do the majority of the work in 2025 and into early 2026. Now, now that all of this coordination has gone through, they're looking to mobilize within the next 2 months, perform work in late '26 and throughout '27, and I think even tailing into early 2028. So that's the basis for the next 2 items, the material cost increase and the labor and fuel cost increase. We've had a lot of back and forth with Grimmer, requesting a substantial amount of information to substantiate those cost changes. They have to, prove that is legitimate, and they have provided. That's why the packet for this change order is so large. It's all of their invoices, and it shows the cost of the fuel and the hours of, equipment anticipated to run and all of that. So, and then the last piece of this is the actual time extension, 205 days. So as far as the cost goes, it's a total add of $421,827.20. Be happy to answer any questions.
And it sounds like, when I was reading this, that we're still under some original value on the contract?
Yes, yes. Change order one, this was several months ago now, but that was some value engineering that was done. That was a deduction of just over $1 million. So this add, we're still about $600,000 below the original bid. So that is fortunate. And, you know, to clarify, there is dollars within the SRF project to cover it, as you would expect, since we had that earlier deduct. So it doesn't account for any, doesn't require any additional, you know, dollars on the city side.
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 2 for $421,827.20.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that'll get us to CIPP project pay app number 4.
Good evening, John Kremke with Schneider Geomatics. This is pay application number 4 for the CIPP project. As of this pay application, the project is about 96% complete. And they've since done works after this application was submitted. The application amount is for $2,189,000, $670.14. It includes all of the pipelining work and a significant portion of the manhole lining work. And we do recommend payment.
I will recommend payment. You know, I was surprised is that they waited so long to ask for anything. That's a huge
Yes.
value.
Yes, I know.
But I would recommend payment to the contractor.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And then we have claims. Did everybody have a chance to take a look at the claims? Any questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve the claims for $1,159,614.31.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any other matters to be brought before the board? Hearing none at this time, is there a motion to adjourn?
There is. A motion to adjourn.
We got a motion to a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.